Great. So, good evening, YouTube. My name is Leo, and tonight the topic is sexually transmitted infections, STIs. And with me are Diane, Lara, and Charles. So, Charles, please, can you introduce yourself? And do you think people avoid to talk about STIs?
Thanks for having me first. I think first late first, but okay. Thank you for choosing me. And Lara, good to see you. Long time no see you. Very long, I guess. I don't remember the last time, but
Yes,
oh,
it's been a while.
good to see you. Yeah, man, I appreciate talk with you in this time about this subject. I know you always broke this kind of subject, and I think we already talked about sex one time before, and I'm in the same tecla yet. This subject, it's a taboo in Brazil for men, for women, for men, for women, for everyone. We are a conservative society, and unfortunately, this kind of subject, it's a taboo. So I don't know if I answered this question, but you can imagine what are my answer. That's it, I guess. So let me listen about who know more than me and have a great English. Lara Ventura.
Oh, come on. Oh, thank you, but no.
A special guest to talk about this topic.
Oh, come on. So my name is Lara. I'm 23 years old. I'm from Governador Valadares, Minas Gerais. I'm here in TNT since July of 2020. And I am a medical student, and it's been a while since I not participating some meetings, but I'm trying to return and practice my English because I think I'm kind of rusty. But okay, I completely agree with Charles. I think this is subject is a taboo in our society, and even in medical area, even this we people avoid to talk about it, and when we see something about it, it's kind of uncomfortable, you know, like when you see a patient with this kind of infections, people still look in the different way, you know. Even it's something like very common, more than uh, more than like uh, like it's less than it was before, like in the past, but it could be should be less than it is, you know, like it's still very common. And I think we this subject is something that's very important to talk about it, and I love the topic. When I saw the Leo posting his Instagram, I said, oh, I have to participate, so I'm here. And yeah, I think this will be a very interesting conversation. Thank you for the topic, Leo.
Great. Yeah. And even the health area, this topic has many different point of views. Into the union, please introduce yourself. And do you think people avoid to talk about STI?
Sure. Well, my name is Diane. I'm 23 years old. I study psychology. I am in the 4th year now, so almost graduating. Thanks God. I live in São Paulo, capital. I work as an intern in the HR area. I think that's it about me. And about the first question, I really agree with you guys. I think that this topic is kind of a taboo in our society. Not only the disease, the infections, but also the sex in general. And I think that it's complicated because we have this stigma that if we talk about sex, for example, with kids or even about disease, sexual diseases, we are teaching them about sex. So I think that, as you said, guys, I think that is something related to education. I think that we should bring more this topic like in schools or something like that, because if we teach kids how to talk about it in a good way, without any sex education in the sense of how to do sex, but about conscientization, I forgot how to say that. If we talk about it in this sense, I think that we can avoid this stigma. But nowadays, I think that we have this this strong stigma, not only about this disease, but infections in general, but also about sex and other topics too. So I do agree with you.
Great point. Yeah, it's pretty common. People think that when we talk about sex education, we are talking about the act of sex, but it's not about it. It's about a consent. It's about a know your body, know what give pleasure to you. Many points, and especially points who are really interesting to child, to people who doesn't know nothing about it, their bodies, so they don't even know what is consentment. So I think that this is the problem. This is the biggest problem that, as Charlie said, we live in a conservative society, and talk about sex, it looks that we are just talking about it, the act, and it's not about it. So, Lara, do you think that talk about it, sex education in schools or in a place can reduce the number of people infected with STIs?
Yes, yes, for sure. It's completely. It's actually something that should be it should happen. Like something that people should work more, and something that we like my students try sometimes. Like I already saw some projects that try to go to schools and talk about it with students and try to like talk about it like in a way that people and in that age will understand and will take do questions. It's something that everybody have doubts about the infections and everything uh, about it. So when you try to talk about it in a simple way, like it's different that we are used to. It's something that helps a lot. So I think it's something that should happen more. In every schools, at least one day, one time. Like 1 hour, 30 minutes, anything. Just to talk about a little more and see that it's more common than people imagine, and it's there is way to avoid the infections and to live with this when you already have the infections and your treatments and everything like this. And so people will change the way to see. And I think this helps everything. Education, I think, is the word. Yeah, I think it's
Great. Yeah, and sometimes we have doubts even about whether can I do a test. There are people who doesn't know. So this simple question can help many people. And you, Charles, what do you think about this?
Oh man, I'm look forward you ask me, because I will avoid my right to answer this question, because I think Lara summarized well, and she is professional from design. And it's okay. I would like to know. I know here it's for train our English, but sometimes we stay without answer. Only this, and I think I will have opportunity to answer other questions. I would like to know about from Diane. I think woman it's more smart than men, and it's all the time help listen. Uh, they, I guess, yeah. I have some problem with they, he, she. That's it. Can you, Diane?
Yes, of course. Well, I agree. I totally agree with Lara point of view. I think that if we talk about sex in schools, as I said before, I think that we can share information and make people more aware about a whole of things, not just about this kind of disease, but about health in general. And specifically about it, I was thinking about a book that I really enjoy, an author actually that I really enjoy, that is called Drauzio Varela. He has many books about jails. I think that is the correct way to say that, prisões. And in one of these books, I don't remember the exactly name of the book that I read this, but he shared one experience that he had in a jail, specifically jail, where he created a campaign to talk about not just about sex, but about how to prevent STI. And he teach the prisioneiros, I forgot how to say that, how to avoid this kind of diseases, how to properly use the needles, this kind of thing, because there was having a lot of diseases in the jails. And with this campaign that he created, like, it was a awareness campaign, he was just sharing information with them, medical information. He could decrease the level of disease that was being spread in the prisons. So it was pretty effective, just the campaign to share knowledge. So I do believe that with education we can prevent not only this kind of infection, but a lot of other ones, like COVID, for example. And I do believe in education, so I agree with Laura, and I just wanted to share this example because it's a true example, and can summarize my point of view. But that's it.
Perfect. Yeah, and there are some places where people don't have access to this information. People don't have no idea about prevention, about test. So especially those people, I think that it's really important to talk about it, because people like us who had access to social medias, who have access to Google, it's really possible to achieve this to achieve information about this topic. But people in jail, people who doesn't live in who don't have access to smartphones or any other things, it's really hard today to have access to what prevention means. So I think that campaigns, as Diane said, it's a good thing to do. And Charles, do you think that there are enough campaigns to talk about prevention, diagnosis, and treatments?
At first I would like to say I told you that the girls it's more smart. Yeah, of course, Diane. Thank you for bringing this information. And I think Varela it's a good example. I think Drauzio Varela. Sorry. I think we can use him in this question, I guess, because he is an example of one good campaign. Maybe a shy campaign, but it's a good example to me. I know have a lot of people that criticize him and his campaign. But no, about the question, no, I don't think it's enough. I think could be more. And I don't remember someone told about people make a mess when we start to teach kids about disease and think about its will be turn they more mature in sex. I don't know if I building okay this sentence, but I think you got well my idea, and it's a totally bullshit because like I think we should teach our kids as soon as possible and prepare they for the future for the world, because the world it's a battle of a field of battle, I guess, and we need to prepare this guy for that. Yeah, I will not talk too much today because like I said, today we have great guys and that's it, but now I can talk a little bit. Yeah, Lara Ventura, how about you?
Oh, come on, we are here to share, and every comment is something that I think will make this conversation so much better. So anything, and I'm here just to talk. So I'm not here like I'm here also like I'm a student, but not just this, not just so I completely agree. I think it's not enough the campaigns and the things that we see it's not enough to be so much better, the information and everything about, and we see more in carnival, it's something that I remember right now in TVs and in social media, people talking a lot about it and during the carnival, but it's not just in carnival. So I think it's something that should continue every month and during the whole year. So yeah, I think it's simple, it's simple, but I think it's because of especially our society, like, as we said before, it's kind of taboo, so people avoid to talk about it. So it's hard, and but there's no other way, we have to talk about, and we have to do campaigns and share informations, and could save a lot of lives and change lives for better.
Yeah, and you said about Carnival, and a few months ago, I saw a new who was talk about the increase of teenagers who have some STI. So it's it, it becomes um a huge problem because we are talking about younger people who already have some STI. So since their childhood or teenagerhood, they don't have access to this, who is really important. Into the union, what do you think?
I agree with Lara. I have a feeling that maybe we have some campaigns to talk about this STI, but they are focused, I feel that they are focused on specific groups of people and also in specific times. So it's complicated. But about it, I had an internship during my graduation, in my first year of graduation, in UBS here in Brazil, UBS. And in this UBS, I had a contact with a teenager too, that she was like 14 years old, and she was pregnant because she had her first time with a boy that, lived close to her. And she didn't know that she was pregnant because she thought that she was only able to be pregnant if she, in the second time, that she makes sex. So this example also reminds me that the problem is even deeper. It's not just about the infection, it's even worse because some kids, as you said, they don't have access to information, even this basic information that, yeah, you can get pregnant in your first time. Like, yeah, this can happen. And so it's complicated. And I feel that we don't have so many campaigns in these other groups, like in kids, these teenagers or even kids during the school or in the basic education. So I agree with you guys.
Yeah, and sometimes I bring some topics related to sex, and once a girl really young, she was talking here with us, and she just said, "Oh, I have a child," and if I had this discussion before a few years ago, it could be different. So I was Jesus. It's really hard to listen that sometimes we are just trying to practice English. Sometimes we are trying to go deeper, and sometimes a topic can change something. So yeah, sometimes this is the reason that I bring some different topics. And okay, Diane said something really interesting that prevention can decrease the number of teenager pregnancies, but something that is we can see is that when we talk about STIs, it's pretty normal. We talk just about HIV. So, Charles, do you think that HIV is the only STI that people use it to talk about it?
I think Diane told a little bit about this, I guess, in Brazil in special. I think we should talk about Brazil because we live there. There for me now it's there, not here anymore. But yeah, I think it's a problem from Brazil. We repeat the same errors and maybe because it's a more dangerous disease, maybe because not only Brazil but around the world, I guess, this disease it's more famous, I guess. Unfortunately, I think we talk too much. Not now anymore, but more maybe some years ago, maybe 5, 6 years ago. I remember, right? I'm 43 years old, and I remember we had a strong campaign, so talk about HIV. But now I think one more time they don't worry too much about HIV anymore, and it's still a bad disease. But yeah, beyond the only disease, we talk about sex and open our mind for talk about this. I think we need to break this taboo. We need to rethink our concepts, I guess. Yeah, like you mentioned 2 minutes ago, one girl here, a pregnant or a mother girl, discover after have had a baby that if she talk about before, maybe she was not a mother. Yeah, it's crazy, but it's a reality in every square in Brazil. I have some relatives in the same situation, and I know a lot of girls in my city, in oh, close to me, I guess. Yeah, man, that's it. I guess it's a little bit boring talk about this because it's a reality. Yeah, yeah, that's it.
Yes, it's a really deep topic. And to Diane, what do you think about this question?
Yeah, I think that HIV is not the only, but I think that the most famous infection that we talk about. I think that maybe this is just because of the boom that we had in the last century, because of a lot of singers got this infection. So people, even the media, really started to talk a lot about this infection. So I think that this one is the most famous. And I have to confess that I needed to search. I need to Google the STI just to see the other names, because I didn't remember the other infections that it's common to, and I got surprised that herpes is a kind of STI because I didn't remember. I need to confess. So this is also related to the last question, because I study a course that is a health course, true, it's kind of, and I still didn't remember some kind of disease, STI diseases, and I think that, I don't know, this is really complicated. I think that we should have more information about it, and not only about HIV, but also about the other ones that are very important too. For example, herpes that we can get in every place basically, because you just need to kiss someone. So yeah, that's it. How about you, Lara?
Yeah, I agree with you. Because even for us, that is for healthy area, it's hard to remember all the infections that can transmitted by sexual. Um, and here in my city, especially syphilis. I don't know in English how can I pronounce syphilis. I don't know, but it's more common than HIV. So we see a lot, especially when we are in the internship that is in how can you say, like gynecology and obstetrician, and also the pediatrician when we examine newborns that have a lot with um, um, wow, I don't know the the words in English, with manifestations for syphilis, like the mother uh, passed through the kid. So it's something that if the pregnancy the pregnant treats during the pregnancy could avoid, passing this disease for the kids. And even with the information that people still have this difficult to understand and treat in the right way. And I think people another thing that people believe that just HIV is the kind of infection is because of the mortality. We also don't see a lot of people talking about like mortality from syphilis and herpes and other disease. So I think this calls the attention. And also not just about the arches and everything like this, but also about this mortality and the manifestations. We see when people with HIV, when people HIV positive, when they don't receive the treatment, the manifestation is very quickly. So it's something sad because now we have, and it's still people don't have the information to treat in the right way and don't make the follow up, I don't know, like the accompaniment for the disease. So yeah, this is the more common and they have more mortality, but it's not the only one. And now in the others also can have have very very, oh my god, the words in English, come on, grave grave manifestations. Is this
Great, thanks, Lara. Yeah, and as Bruna said, many people still relating HIV with the boom of the last decade. And people don't realize or people don't know that today we have treatments. Today, a person living with HIV, if they receive the treatment, they cannot transmit this virus to other people. And I think that especially with HIV, people they have some concern because of this. And the others infections, they have cure or they have vaccines. So we have many treatments for many infections, but HIV we don't have a cure. So I think this is the biggest problem of the infections. And okay, so the question number 5, it's do you think people are ashamed to look for prevention, diagnosis, and treatment? And I'm asking this because the first time that I went to do a test, it was really hard to me because I was really nervous. I was just, and what if it's yes, and I got it? I have no idea what to do. So I started to remember many things in my memory, and it just makes me freak out. And I don't know, maybe some people are afraid of make test or not. What do you think that can make people avoid this, Diane?
I think that because of this taboo that we have in our society, people in general are ashamed of talking about things related to sex, not just about the diagnosis of IST, but also about like a pregnancy test. For example, if you are going to buy it on a pharmacy, you probably will be ashamed of it. Or even if you're trying to buy a condom or get a condom in a hospital or something like that, you are ashamed of it. And I think that this is because we are, I don't know if it's because we are Brazilian, but we have this shame, vergonha, to say that we like make sex. It seems, I don't know if it's because of this Christian morality too. I don't know what it is, but it's like it's as this, I don't know, it's something like seen as something wrong. If you make sense, you're a bad person, so we don't usually talk about it in a public space or freely with people that you don't know. I don't know, there is this moral around in the sex thing. So this make worse this diagnosis thing, because people are really ashamed of do a test, even for their health, also because of this taboo. It's even worse, I guess, because you have to go in the hospital and say like, well, I did, and I didn't get the prevention, so protection, so please, I need to do the test. And it's not so comfortable, and you are feeling like judged or something like that. So there's a lot of things around this, but it's complicated.
Yeah, and Jesus is said something really interesting because we are ashamed of by customs. Can you imagine do a test or be positive? It's terrible. So we are not prepared for this topic, this discussion about it. It's terrible. In the chart, do
Don't have nothing. I don't have nothing for add, and I think Diane, it's perfect, and yeah, I think it's exactly this. And we are talk about things that happen nowadays, like some relatives. I don't know who I can say my relative or from mine. When I talk with my doctors about this subject, they ask me, crazy. Are you crazy? Guys, not too old like me, 43, 40 years. My brother-in-law. Sometimes I'm talk with my nephew, and my sister asks me for don't do that. Yeah. Like it's religion, it's it's conservative mentality, I guess, right? And we that can broke this chain, we are crazy in this point of view, I guess, or in their point of view. Like we need to have a more strong position from our government. We need to dig more deep in this subject for maybe broke some chain, and maybe in some decades we could have some guys more informado. I don't know how I can say this, and I will not try about this. Yeah, only for training my English. But like I said, I did not I should not add anything. Diana was perfect, all right, Lara, and I know from you I will listen more good things.
Oh my, what can I say? I completely agree. I think, as Diana said, people are ashamed to buy condoms. That's something that we all had to use to avoid these infections. So, can you imagine, like, to do the diagnosis and the treatment? People, like, I think it is something that passed through everybody's head. Like, what people are, what they will think about me. Like something kind of like this. What they were thinking about I think it's kind of something that it's inconscient, because I think it's something that passed through everyone's mind. What they are thinking about. Every time we keep with this in our head, what the people were thinking about us. So I think this is the biggest problem, because if we would keep with this in mind, we're like, things will be worse. We don't have to worry about this, especially when we're trying to prevent something. And when you already have the disease, maybe when you go to a doctor or a professional about this, we're in our head will stay like, uh, they were thinking that I didn't do the things to prevent or something like this, where they. So it's very hard. I don't know if you guys get it. I missed everything, trying to speak in English, but it is. I think it's this.
Yeah, there are many situations, and people still taking care so much about what people will think about it if the diagnosis is positive. And this is one problem. And there are people who still think that this is gay problem. This is a gay disease. So it cannot happen with straight people who make it hard, because if I think that this cannot happen with me, I will not search for prevent. I will not search for information about it. So I will continue spread this, and doesn't matter how many sex I have or how many partners I have. I will just do it, and it's okay. It will not happen with me. So it's still a problem as well. So we have just 5 minutes to finish this conversation. So I think that we can talk about the question number 8. What should be done to influence people to use condoms? I think this is the safest way to prevent. So I think that we should use condoms to take care of us and take care of the people we are have relationships. So Charles.
Education. I think the girls talk about this, and I avoid to talk in that time, but now I will be opportune to talk. Education. I think education, it's a key for broke a lot of things. And we talk about religion, we talk about conservative society, and I think the education, it's the key for I don't think broke, but try to open maybe a fissure. I don't know how I can say this. A little space in this universe, because we have a lot of universe, Christians, I don't know, evangélico, and other religions in Brazil, and we have a strong conservative society until now, yeah, and prove that it's our election in this year, yeah. But I would like to finish talk to you. I feel a little bit shame in participating in one high level English discussion like that. I know I need to study too much for active this level, and thank you for bring these sharp girls for this discussion. That's it, I guess.
We are here to this, Charles. There's no problem. Diane,
I agree with Charles. I believe that education is the solution for everything, a lot of problems that we have nowadays. But I also think that we can use like the social media in our favor, like maybe try to reach some influencers to, spread the information about the STI or even about condoms, the common errors, mistakes that people make when they are using, or the kind of disease or problems that we can have if we don't use it if you don't use it properly or something like that. We can use it like the social media in your favor, but also in schools. I think that we should focus on them, because like the children are the adults of the future, so we need to focus on them. But I totally agree with Charles. I think that in a summary, education is the solution.
yeah, and especially social medias, because they can achieve younger people, and we can achieve a public who doesn't watch TV or doesn't listen radios, who are people who who have more age, who are not that young. So I think that we should think about ways to connect with young people. And you, Lara, what do you think?
Also education. Education is the key, and social medias, which is schools. And I was thinking here, I said it before about the project that we I already participated in. I saw in my school that students going to uh, other schools to talk about this. And I remember at one time that at the end of the lesson, at the end of the conversation, we pass a box, and the kids could put questions in the side of box, and also, and at the end we get the questions and answer these questions, and it was anonymous. We the people don't have to put their names in the box, and not like expose themselves when they are talking, they are making the questions. So I think this is opportunity. It's very good. We saw a lot of questions that we are, oh my god, like we didn't know that they have doubts about it, and they did. And when they put there with for us, like as students, as adults, in comparison with them, for us it's something simple, but for them, and they don't make these questions because they are ashamed of this. So it's something that I think is a strategy. It's a tool, ferramenta that we can use to break this taboo, break this lack of information that we have, and spread this, and make the information get to the people. Social media is also a very good way because we have a lot of access, and don't just to use condom, but how to use and why use. It's we focus on this because I think it's show the numbers the numbers that we have, like uh, the infections that are increasing the numbers, and how they affect the effects of this. So this we have to use to make this information spread. I think it's this.
Perfect. And it was amazing because you open to people who are shy or have ashamed of to ask. So it was amazing. So guys, it was a pleasure to be here with you all. It was a great conversation. I love it to talk with you all. And I just have to ask you to answer the survey that I sent on the chats. And I really hope to see you here again next week. So I wish you a great week and see you all, guys. Bye bye.
Bye.
Kisses.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, Leo. See ya.
See you, Lara.